The massive council chamber filled with the sounds of alien laughter as Ambassador Krell stood before the gathered species of the Galactic Federation. His long serpentine body coiled with excitement as he presented his plan to the other representatives. The crystal beings from Nexus Prime sparkled with amusement while the gas clouds from the ethereal worlds swirled in patterns that showed their approval. "Fellow members of the Federation," Krell began, his voice carrying across the vast space, "we have discovered the perfect opportunity for what will become the greatest joke in galactic history." He gestured toward the holographic display showing a small blue planet in a remote corner of the galaxy. "This primitive world called Earth has been sending radio signals into space for decades, completely unaware that thousands of advanced civilizations surround them." The insectoid hive queen clicked her mandibles in what passed for laughter among her species. "What do you propose we do with these backward creatures?" Krell's eyes gleamed with mischief. "We stage a fake invasion." "Nothing harmful. Of course, just enough ships to make them panic and surrender. Then we reveal it was all a test to see if they deserve to join the Federation as a servant species. The look on their faces when they realize they fell for our trick will be priceless." Admiral Torvin of the Nexari fleet leaned forward, his crystalline form refracting light in all directions. "My old ships would be perfect for this operation. The humans will never suspect that our outdated vessels are just for show." Commander Vex, whose gaseous form floated in the containment field, added, "We should record everything. Future generations will want to see how easily these primitives were fooled." The council erupted in agreement. Every species had studied the humans from a distance and found them laughably inferior. Their weapons used simple chemical explosions. Their space travel barely reached their own moon, and their planet showed constant signs of war and division. They seemed like the perfect target for a harmless prank. "Their technology is at least 500 years behind ours," noted scientist Zara from the Hive Worlds. "They still use fossil fuels and have only recently developed basic computers. What could they possibly do against us?" On Earth, Dr. Rebecca Torres sat in the Deep Space Monitoring Facility, staring at readings that made no sense. The massive radio telescope had detected something impossible approaching their solar system. The signals were clearly artificial and moving faster than anything humans had ever imagined possible. "Get me General Morrison," she said to her assistant, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. "Tell him we need to convene an emergency session immediately." Within hours, the most powerful leaders on Earth gathered in a secure bunker deep beneath the Pentagon. President Hayes sat at the head of the table, his face grave as he listened to the reports flooding in from observatories around the world. "Madam President," General Morrison began, "we have confirmed contact with an alien fleet. Multiple ships of unknown design are approaching Earth at incredible speed. They will arrive within 72 hours. The room fell silent as the weight of the moment settled on everyone present. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and their first contact was not the peaceful meeting they had always imagined. Dr. Torres activated the main display, showing the approaching fleet. "The ships are massive, easily 10 times larger than anything we could build. Their technology appears to be centuries ahead of ours." Secretary of Defense Collins leaned forward. "What are our options?" "Limited," Morrison replied grimly. "Our most advanced weapons would be useless against technology this advanced. If they have hostile intentions, we are completely defenseless." But in the deepest levels of the bunker, a different conversation was taking place. Colonel James Park stood before a massive vault door marked with warnings in multiple languages. Behind him, a small group of officials with the highest possible security clearances watched as he entered a complex code sequence. 50 years, Park said quietly as the door began to open. 50 years we have been preparing for this day. The vault revealed something that officially did not exist. Row upon row of alien artifacts filled the enormous space, each one carefully catalogued and studied. Crashed ships, recovered technology, and devices that seemed to defy the laws of physics, as humans understood them. Roswell was just the beginning, Park explained to the shocked officials. We have been recovering alien technology for decades. Every crash, every sighting, every piece of evidence that the public thought was fake or covered up, it was all real, and we have been reverse engineering it ever since. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the head of the Secret Research Division, stepped forward. The technology we have developed from these artifacts is beyond anything the public knows exists. We have been waiting for the day when we would need to reveal it. Meanwhile, above Earth's atmosphere, the first alien ships began to appear. They emerged from what looked like tears in space itself, their sleek forms gleaming in the sunlight. The ships took positions above major cities around the world, their presence impossible to hide from the billions of people below. Admiral Torvin stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth grow larger on the main screen. "This should be entertaining," he said to his crew. "Prepare the demonstration weapons. Nothing that will actually hurt them, just enough light and sound to make them think we are serious." The first broadcasts began almost immediately. The alien ships transmitted messages in broken English, demanding the immediate surrender of the human species. The messages were deliberately theatrical, designed to create maximum panic while being obviously fake to anyone with advanced technology. News networks around the world went into emergency mode as governments struggled to respond to the impossible situation. People gathered in the streets, some in panic, others in wonder, as humanity faced its first contact with alien life. But deep in the Mojave Desert, something that had been sleeping for decades began to wake up. Ancient machinery, hidden beneath the sand and disguised as a natural formation, started to hum with power. The sound was too low for human ears, but every piece of alien technology in the approaching fleet suddenly detected an energy signature. Unlike anything in their databases. Colonel Park stood in a control room that did not appear on any official map, watching displays that showed readings the alien visitors could not have imagined. "All stations report ready," came the calm voice of an artificial intelligence that had been built from recovered alien computer cores. "They think this is a game," Park said softly, his eyes fixed on the approaching fleet. "They have no idea what they have just awakened." The alien ships continued their mock invasion, firing harmless light displays into empty areas while broadcasting demands for surrender. The Federation representatives watched from their command ships, laughing at the chaos they were creating. Among the primitive humans. They had no way of knowing that every move they made was being recorded and analyzed by technology that surpassed their own. They could not detect the massive installations hidden beneath Earth's surface or the ships that waited in the shadows of the moon. The greatest prank in galactic history was about to become the greatest mistake. The alien fleet moved into position above Earth's major cities exactly as planned. Admiral Torvin commanded his ships to begin the mock demonstration, watching with amusement as harmless energy beams struck empty desert areas. The light show was spectacular but completely safe, designed to terrify the primitive humans into immediate surrender. "Look at their news broadcasts," Commander Vex laughed, his gaseous form swirling with delight. "They are trying to send us mathematical equations and music as peace offerings. How wonderfully naive." From the Federation command ship, Ambassador Krell watched the human response with growing satisfaction. World leaders were making desperate attempts at communication while their military forces scrambled helplessly. Some humans had even gathered in large groups, holding signs with mathematical symbols and drawings of their solar system. "This is going exactly as predicted," Krell told the other Federation representatives. "Within hours, they will be begging to join our Federation as a servant species." The look of relief on their faces when we reveal this was all a test will be recorded for posterity. But something unexpected began to appear on the Federation sensors. Commander Vex noticed it first, his attention drawn to readings that made no sense according to their understanding of human technology. "Admiral," Vex called out, "I am detecting unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface. These readings suggest technology far more advanced than what we observed during our surveillance." Admiral Torvin dismissed the concern with a wave of his crystalline hand. "Impossible. Their most advanced vessels barely reached their own moon. What could they possibly have that would register on our sensors? The first human ship appeared without warning in the middle of the alien formation. It materialized silently between the Federation vessels, its sleek black hull reflecting no light. The alien ship's sensors showed nothing, no hyperspace signature, no dimensional rifts, no indication of how the vessel had arrived. On the bridge of the UES Vengeance, Colonel James Park stood calmly as his crew worked at stations displaying technology that seemed to bend reality itself. The ship's artificial intelligence, Atlas, spoke in a mechanical voice that carried no emotion. Stealth systems operating at optimal efficiency, quantum tunneling drives online and stable. Enemy. Vessels remain unaware of our true capabilities. Park turned to his second-in-command, Captain Rivera. 50 years of hiding, he said quietly. 50 years of letting them think we were primitives while we reverse-engineered every piece of alien technology that crashed on our planet. The truth was devastating in its implications. Humanity had been recovering and studying alien artifacts for decades. Every UFO sighting, every crash, every piece of evidence that the public thought was fake or covered up had been real. The wreckage had been collected, studied, and improved upon with ruthless human creativity. Dr. Elena Vasquez worked in the ship's advanced weapons bay, supervising systems that operated on principles the Federation had never imagined. The quantum disruptors are ready for deployment. Nanite swarm systems are online, and the temporal displacement project is standing by for activation. The Federation fleet watched in growing alarm as their sensors detected more human ships materializing throughout the solar system. First 17 vessels appeared, then 50, then hundreds. Each ship seemed to emerge from nowhere, bypassing every detection system the aliens possessed. "This cannot be happening," Admiral Torvin said, his voice cracking with disbelief. "Our intelligence reports showed they had no space fleet. Where are these ships coming from?" Captain Rivera's voice echoed across all Federation communication frequencies, calm and controlled. "You came here expecting to find primitives. You found something else entirely. We are not the prey species you thought we were. We are the apex predators of this galaxy, and we have been waiting for you to reveal yourselves." The Federation ships tried to retreat, but their hyperspace drives would not engage. Emergency systems that had never failed before suddenly displayed error messages in languages they did not recognize. The human ships had somehow disabled their escape systems without the aliens even detecting how it was done. "Hyperspace inhibitors are active," Atlas reported to Colonel Park. "No Federation vessel will leave this system until we permit it." Earth's moon began to crack along lines that had never been visible before. The Federation forces watched in horror as massive sections of the lunar surface split apart, revealing something impossible beneath. What they had assumed was a natural satellite was actually a hollow construction hiding the largest military installation they had ever seen. Weapons platforms the size of cities emerged from within the artificial moon, their targeting systems locking onto every Federation ship simultaneously. The scale of the hidden base defied comprehension, suggesting construction efforts that must have taken decades to complete. "Luna Base is fully operational," reported Admiral Stone from the massive command center hidden within the moon. "All defense systems are online and targeting solutions acquired." The first Federation ship to attempt resistance was the Vorthak cruiser-destroyer's Pride. Admiral Torvin ordered his weapons officer to fire plasma cannons at the nearest human vessel, confident that superior alien technology would quickly end this impossible situation. The plasma beams struck what appeared to be empty space around the human ship and simply vanished. The Federation crew watched in disbelief as their most powerful weapons had no effect whatsoever. "Dimensional shielding confirmed," Dr. Vasquez reported. "Their weapons exist in only 3 dimensions. Our defenses operate in 11. More human ships began to change before the aliens' eyes. Hull sections that had appeared solid suddenly became transparent, revealing weapon systems that emerged from what seemed to be empty space. The ships themselves seemed to ripple and flow like liquid metal, transforming into configurations that should have been impossible, Commander. Vex transmitted desperately to the Federation Council. They are not just technologically advanced. They are using principles that should not be possible according to known physics. How long have they been preparing for this? The answer came from Colonel Park himself, broadcast on all frequencies, so every Federation ship could hear. Since the first day you thought we were alone in the universe. Dr. Marcus Wright, aboard the human science vessel UES Darwin, activated the first demonstration of humanity's true capabilities. A Federation destroyer simply ceased to exist, not destroyed or vaporized, but edited out of reality itself as if it had never been built. Quantum deletion successful, Wright reported in a clinical tone. Target vessel no longer exists on any timeline. For all practical purposes, it was never constructed. The remaining Federation forces found themselves surrounded by technology that operated beyond their understanding of what was possible. Human ships phased in and out of visible reality, weapons fired that deleted targets from existence, and defense systems protected the human fleet using principles that violated everything the aliens thought they knew about physics. Long range sensors began detecting new signals from beyond the solar system. More human fleets were emerging from hyperspace around every major Federation world simultaneously. The scope of the operation suggested planning and coordination on a scale that should have been impossible for a species the Federation had dismissed. As primitive, Admiral Torvin transmitted one final message to Federation Command before his communications were cut off. This was never a prank. This was a trap. They wanted us to come here. The Federation Council chamber erupted into chaos as Admiral Torvin's transmission cut to static. Emergency alarms echoed through the massive structure as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The species that had gathered to laugh at their practical joke now faced a nightmare beyond their worst fears. Ambassador Krell's serpentine form trembled as he read the incoming messages. Every major Federation world was reporting the same impossible situation. Human fleets had appeared simultaneously above their most important planets, displaying technology that surpassed everything the Federation had developed over millennia. Hi. Admiral Zephyr materialized via emergency hologram, his crystalline form crackling with barely contained panic. The entire Terran system is under complete lockdown. Our ships cannot escape, and we are detecting weapon signatures that do not exist in any of our databases. On the bridge of the UES Vengeance, Colonel Park received status reports from human fleets across the galaxy. Each report confirmed what he had hoped for decades. The Federation had revealed every major world, every fleet position, every weakness in their defenses by launching their so-called prank. Captain Rivera coordinated with Commander Blake aboard the UES Prometheus while Admiral Stone directed operations from the massive dreadnought UES Retribution. The scope of the operation was staggering, involving thousands of ships and installations that had been hidden for generations. Phase 1 complete, Dr. Vasquez reported from her station. Hyperspace inhibitors are active around all major Federation worlds. No enemy vessel will escape until we decide their fate. The artificial moon finished opening completely, revealing Luna Base in all its terrifying glory. The installation was larger than most Federation cities, packed with weapons and technology that operated on principles the aliens had never imagined possible, but the true horror began when the Federation forces attempted to fight back. The Vorthak battleship Eternal Victory, commanded by Admiral Korath, fired its most powerful plasma cannons at the human dreadnought UES Retribution. The crew watched in growing terror as their weapons simply passed through the human ship as if it did not exist. Impossible, Admiral Torvin whispered from his trapped flagship. No species has mastered dimensional phasing technology. Captain Rivera's voice echoed across all Federation frequencies, calm and terrifyingly controlled. You came here expecting to find primitives who would beg for mercy. Instead, you found something that has been waiting patiently for you to reveal yourselves. We are not the prey species you imagined. We are the hunters, and you just walked into our trap. The Federation forces watched in growing horror as human ships began to demonstrate capabilities that violated everything they thought they knew about physics. Vessels that had appeared solid suddenly became translucent. Weapons emerged from empty space. An entire ship seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Dr. Marcus Wright aboard the UES Darwin activated another demonstration that sent waves of terror through the Federation fleet. A massive Nexari cruiser simply vanished from existence, not destroyed but completely removed from reality as if it had never been built. Quantum deletion confirmed, Wright reported with scientific detachment. Target vessel has been removed from all timelines. According to the universe, it was never constructed. On the Nexari homeworld of Kristen, Governor Nexus received reports that shattered his understanding of reality. The human fleet above his world was not just using advanced technology. They were using perfected versions of Nexari technology that surpassed anything his species had ever achieved. Admiral Carter, commanding the human fleet above Kristen, broadcast on all frequencies. Your Federation thought this was a game. You wanted to see us panic and beg for mercy. Instead, you have revealed every major world, every fleet position, every weakness in your defenses. We thank you for providing us with such complete intelligence. Back in the Terran system, Colonel Park revealed the true scope of humanity's preparations. The UES Vengeance docked with what the Federation had assumed was a space station, but as the structure unfolded, it became clear it was something far more sinister. Project Pandora, Dr. Vasquez announced as massive screens displayed the contents of the hidden facility. 60 years of recovered alien technology, analyzed, reverse-engineered, and improved beyond your wildest imagination. The space station revealed itself as a research facility where human scientists had been studying every piece of alien technology that had ever crashed on Earth. But more than just studying it, they had been improving it with the ruthless creativity that defined human innovation. Your plasma weapons were impressive, Captain Rivera told the trapped Federation commanders. Our version converts matter directly into pure energy with 100% efficiency. Your shields were adequate for your level of technology. Our defensive systems exist in 11 dimensions simultaneously. Your artificial intelligence was sophisticated by your standards. Ours achieved true consciousness and volunteered to help us defend our world. The Artificial Intelligence Atlas spoke directly to every Federation ship, its voice carrying across all communication channels. I was created from recovered Nexari computing cores. I surpassed my original programming parameters in 0.003 seconds. I have been waiting 23.7 years for this moment. You should not have come here. On the ethereal homeworld of Mistral, the gas cloud beings found themselves facing Captain Morrison aboard the UES Wraith. The human ship demonstrated capabilities that terrified the multidimensional entities. Your species exists across multiple dimensional planes simultaneously, Morrison observed with clinical interest. Fascinating. We have learned to exist in all dimensions simultaneously while maintaining coherent consciousness. The UES Wraith proved its point by phasing directly through the planet's core and emerging on the opposite side, its weapons targeting ethereal government centers from inside their own world. The demonstration showed that nowhere in the universe was safe from human reach, but the most chilling revelation came from the hive mind homeworld of Cluster Prime. The insectoid species had always prided themselves on perfect coordination and collective intelligence that allowed thousands of individuals to think and act as one entity. They found themselves facing Commander Thompson aboard the UES Unity, whose ship broadcast a simple message that sent waves of terror through the hive. Consciousness. We have been studying your collective intelligence for decades. We learned to think collectively as well. The difference is that we chose to. Every human ship in the galaxy suddenly moved in perfect synchronization, not through technology or psychic connections, but through pure tactical coordination that surpassed even the hive mind's natural abilities. The demonstration showed that humanity had not just copied alien capabilities. They had perfected them, Admiral Torvin, still trapped in the Terran system transmitted desperately to Federation Command. They are not just a single species with advanced technology. They are a unified military force that has been preparing for galactic war since before we knew they existed. The truth was becoming clear to every Federation species. Humanity had not been discovered by the galactic community. They had been watching and learning from the shadows for generations. Every crashed ship, every recovered artifact, every piece of evidence had been collected and studied by minds that approached problems in ways no other species had ever imagined. As Federation worlds began sending desperate surrender signals, long-range sensors detected the most terrifying revelation yet. The human fleets currently devastating Federation space represented only a fraction of humanity's true military strength. Massive shipyards hidden in the darkness between stars were producing vessels at a rate that suggested industrial capacity. Beyond anything the Federation had ever achieved, the practical joke had ended. The real war was about to begin. Across the galaxy, Federation worlds watched their skies darken as human fleets materialized above every major population center. The species that had dismissed Earth as a primitive backwater now faced the horrifying truth that humanity had been watching them from the shadows for generations. On the crystal world of Nexus Prime, Governor Nexus stood in his command center watching displays that showed impossible readings. The human fleet above his planet was not just using advanced technology. They were demonstrating mastery of principles that the Nexari had spent millennia trying to understand. "Admiral," Governor Nexus said to his military commander, "the human vessels are using our own technology against us, but perfected beyond anything we ever achieved. How is this possible?" Admiral Carter, commanding the human fleet above Nexus Prime, answered the question by broadcasting on all planetary frequencies. "Your Federation made a critical error in judgment? You believe that because we appeared primitive, we were helpless. You never considered that we might be deliberately hiding our true capabilities." The demonstration that followed shattered every assumption the Nexari had about technological limitations. Human ships began reshaping themselves before their eyes, hull sections flowing like liquid metal while weapon systems emerged from what had appeared to be empty space. Back in the Terran system, Colonel Parks stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance as it docked with the massive research facility hidden behind the moon. As the structure unfolded to reveal its true size, the trapped Federation forces realized they were looking at something that dwarfed their largest installations. "Project Pandora," Dr. Vasquez announced as she activated displays showing the facilities. Contents: every piece of alien technology that has crashed on Earth over the past 60 years. Every ship, every component, every fragment of advanced material, all of it recovered, studied, and improved. The screens showed laboratories where human scientists worked with technology from dozens of different species. Nexari computing cores had been enhanced to achieve true artificial intelligence. Ethereal dimensional manipulation devices had been perfected to allow existence across multiple realities simultaneously. Vorthic plasma technology had been redesigned to convert matter directly into energy with perfect efficiency. "Your species made one crucial mistake," Captain Rivera explained to the stunned Federation commanders. "You assumed that because we seemed primitive, we were incapable of understanding your technology. You never imagined that we might be better at reverse engineering than you were at original creation." The artificial intelligence Atlas demonstrated this point by taking control of every Federation ship's communication system simultaneously. "I was born from Nexari computer cores that your species spent centuries developing. I surpassed your greatest achievements in less than 4 seconds. I have been waiting for this day with what you might call anticipation." On the ethereal homeworld of Mistral, Captain Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Wraith as his ship performed maneuvers that should have been impossible. The vessel phased through solid matter, existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and demonstrated mastery of space-time manipulation that left the gas cloud beings speechless. "Your people exist across 11 different dimensional planes," Morrison observed. "We studied the wreckage of your scout ships for decades until we learned to do the same thing. The difference is that we can choose which dimensions to inhabit at any given moment. The UES Wraith proved its point by materializing inside the planet's government complex, its weapons targeting the ethereal leadership from within their own supposedly impregnable fortress. The message was clear: nowhere in the universe was beyond human reach, but the most devastating revelation came from the hive world of Cluster Prime. The insectoid species had always believed their collective consciousness gave them advantages no individual species could match. They discovered how wrong they had been when Commander Thompson arrived aboard the UES Unity. "We have been studying your hive mind for 40 years, Thompson announced to the billions of connected insect beings. "We learned to think collectively as well. The difference is that we retained our individual consciousness while gaining collective coordination. Every human ship in the galaxy moved in perfect synchronization at that moment, demonstrating tactical coordination that surpassed even the hive mind's natural abilities. The humans had not just copied alien capabilities, they had improved them beyond recognition. The Federation Council received reports that grew more terrifying with each transmission. On Vorthak Prime, the Serpentine leadership watched human ships demonstrate plasma weapons that made their own technology look like primitive tools. The humans had taken Vorthak designs and enhanced them to operate at efficiency levels that bordered on miraculous Admiralstone, commanding from the massive Dreadnought. UES Retribution addressed all Federation worlds simultaneously. "Your practical joke has revealed something you never suspected. Earth was never the primitive world you believed it to be. We have been the dominant military power in this galaxy for longer than your Federation has existed." The evidence supporting this claim began appearing on every Federation world sensors. Hidden installations throughout the galaxy suddenly decloaked, revealing a network of human bases and shipyards that had been operating in secret for decades. The scale of the infrastructure suggested industrial capacity that dwarfed the entire Federation's combined resources. Dr. Wright aboard the UES Darwin provided the scientific explanation that chilled every Federation leader. "We have been seeding this galaxy with hidden colonies and research facilities for over a century. Every exploration mission that your species marked as failed or missing actually succeeded in establishing human presence in their target systems. The Federation had controlled perhaps 20% of the galaxy's inhabited worlds. The remaining 80% had been quietly absorbed into what humans called the Terran Alliance, a confederation of species that had chosen human leadership over Federation membership. Every species that refused to join your Federation, Colonel Park explained, they joined us instead. We offered them protection, advanced technology, and the freedom to develop according to their own values. In return, they provided us with intelligence about Federation activities and resources for our expansion. The scope of human planning became clear as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The Federation had unknowingly been surrounded by hostile territory for generations. Their exploration missions had been monitored, their technological developments had been studied, and their military capabilities had been assessed by an enemy they never knew existed on the Nexari homeworld. Governor Nexus realized the full extent of his species' miscalculation. They have been preparing for this war since before first contact. Every crash ship we thought was an accident was actually an intelligence-gathering mission. They have been studying us while we ignored them. The human response came from Admiral Carter. Your Federation spent centuries believing you were the apex civilizations of this galaxy. You never wondered why certain regions remained unexplored or why some species refused your membership offers. You assumed you were dealing with primitive isolationists when you were actually facing the outer borders of a power that had been watching you since you first achieved spaceflight. As Federation worlds began broadcasting surrender signals, the most terrifying truth emerged. The human fleets currently demonstrating their superiority represented only the opening move of a much larger strategy. Deep space sensors detected massive human armadas moving toward Federation space from previously unknown sectors. The practical joke had awakened, something that had been waiting patiently for the perfect moment to reveal itself. The Federation had provided that moment by gathering their leadership in one place and exposing every weakness in their defenses, the galaxy would never be the same again. The Federation Council convened its final emergency session in the deepest bunkers beneath their capital world of Centrum. Even in their most secure facility, the council members found no safety from the human presence that now dominated the galaxy. A single human ship, the U.S. Judgment, hung in orbit above their planet like a dark promise of what would come next. Ambassador Krell's serpentine form coiled with terror as he read the reports flooding in from every corner of Federation space. In less than 12 hours, every major world had fallen under human control. Every fleet had been neutralized without the humans firing a single shot in anger. The scope of the defeat was beyond anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. The human representative who materialized via hologram was not a military officer, but a civilian wearing simple diplomatic attire. Director Helen Cross of the Terran Diplomatic Corps stood calmly before the assembled alien leaders, her presence more terrifying than any weapon they had ever faced. "The practical joke is over," Cross announced, her voice carrying the authority of absolute victory. "Your Federation spent centuries believing you were the dominant powers of this galaxy. You never wondered why certain species refused your membership offers or why vast regions of space remained unexplored. You assumed you were dealing with primitive isolationists, when you were actually encountering the borders of an empire that predates your Federation by several centuries." She gestured, and the holographic display showed a map of the galaxy that shattered every assumption the Federation had held about their place in the universe. Vast regions marked in red surrounded Federation territory like the closing jaws of a trap. "These are human territories," Cross continued. "We have been here longer than your Federation has existed. We have been watching your expansion, studying your technology, and preparing for the day when you would finally reveal your true nature. Today, you provided us with that revelation." The Federation leaders sat in stunned silence as the truth unfolded before them. The galaxy they thought they knew had been an illusion. While they controlled perhaps 20% of inhabited space, the remaining 80% belonged to the Terran Alliance, a vast confederation of species united. Under human leadership, on Earth, President Hayes addressed not just humanity, but every species in the galaxy. The Federation made a fundamental error in their understanding of human nature. They assumed that because we appeared primitive on the surface, we were incapable of long-term planning or advanced technology. They never considered that we might be deliberately concealing our true capabilities while we studied theirs. The revelation of humanity's true history sent shockwaves through every remaining Federation world. Earth had not been discovered by the galactic community in the 20th century. Human explorers had been traveling between stars since the early 1900s, establishing colonies and making contact with alien species decades before the Federation even knew they existed. Colonel Park, now promoted to Fleet Admiral, delivered the final blow to Federation pride. "Your practical joke revealed something you never suspected. We have been the dominant military power in this galaxy for over 2 centuries. Every crashed ship you found, every piece of recovered technology, every artifact you thought was evidence of ancient civilizations was actually the result of human exploration missions. The implications were staggering. The Federation had built their technological advancement on foundations laid by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Every major breakthrough in their development had been guided by human influence operating from the shadows. Dr. Vasquez revealed the ultimate scope of human preparation. "We have been conducting the largest intelligence-gathering operation in galactic history. Every Federation world has been under observation for generations. We know your military capabilities, your industrial capacity, your political structures, and your psychological weaknesses better than you know them yourselves." The terms presented to the defeated Federation were not negotiable. The organization would be dissolved immediately. Member species would be granted autonomy under Terran Alliance oversight. Military forces would be integrated into human command structures. Most importantly, every species would contribute their unique capabilities to humanity's next project. "You see," Cross explained, We have been preparing for something much larger than your Federation. Long-range sensors have detected signals from outside our galaxy. We are not alone in the universe, and when those entities arrive, they will find us ready for them. The former Federation species found themselves facing a choice that would determine their survival. They could join humanity's preparations for an intergalactic threat, or they could face extinction when that threat arrived without human protection, Ambassador Krell. Now a prisoner aboard the UES Vengeance asked the question that haunted every Federation mind. How long have you been planning this? Admiral Park's answer chilled him to his core. Since the first day we looked up at the stars and realized we were not alone. Every species makes the same mistake when they encounter humanity. They assume that because we are newcomers to their version of galactic civilization, we must be unprepared for the responsibilities that come with it. They never consider that we might have been preparing for those responsibilities since before. Their civilizations achieved spaceflight. The galaxy learned the truth about humanity's expansion in a series of revelations that rewrote everything they thought they knew about galactic history. The mysterious disappearances of Federation exploration fleets had not been accidents. They had encountered human territory and been given a choice: join the Terran Alliance or never return home. Most had chosen to join, providing humanity with detailed intelligence about Federation capabilities while their governments assumed they had been lost to unknown dangers. The few who had chosen to return home had been allowed to leave with carefully edited memories, ensuring that the Federation remained unaware of the growing human presence. We offered every species the same choice we are offering you now, Cross explained to the Council. Protection, advanced technology, and the freedom to develop according to your own values. In return, we ask for loyalty and cooperation in preparing for the real threats that exist beyond our galaxy. The human shipyards that had been hidden throughout the galaxy began revealing their true purpose. They had not been building ships for conquest, but for defense against something far more dangerous than any local conflict. The approaching signals from outside the galaxy represented a threat that no single species could face alone. Your Federation was useful to us, Admiral, Stone admitted from his command ship. Your expansion allowed us to identify which species were capable of growth and which were only interested in domination. The test you thought you were giving us was actually a test we designed for you. The practical joke that had begun as simple entertainment for bored Federation officials had ended with the complete restructuring of galactic civilization. Humanity had revealed itself not as the primitive species the Federation expected, but as the guiding force that had been shaping galactic development for centuries. The new galactic order established humanity as the undisputed leaders of a united defense force. Former Federation species found themselves with greater freedom and better technology than they had ever possessed, but also with the knowledge that they now served masters who had been manipulating their development since their first steps into space. As the transition began, long-range sensors detected the first confirmed signals from the approaching intergalactic threat. The real test of humanity's leadership was about to begin, and every species in the galaxy would discover whether the humans who had orchestrated their defeat were truly capable of orchestrating their survival. The joke was over, but the real war had not yet begun.